Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a good week doing the short story unit. It's a little bit tricky because I don't want to have the detention staff have to make a ton of copies. So I hope you enjoyed listening to The Telltale Heart on Wednesday. And then I hope you got into the story Ruthless as I read it to you on Monday. So, anyway, today's assignment, we are going to combine the two stories together. So I need you to grab a pencil and paper. You can pause the video if you need to, but everyone needs to have a pencil and paper right now so that you can jot down some names of the characters. Your writing assignment is going to involve writing using all of the characters, so you need to know those. So let me grab this, and I'll have to cover up my head. But with your pencil and paper, go ahead and jot down these names and the story they're from. So you have Ruthless, and in here you have Judson Webb. Hello. Judson Webb, Mabel, the thief, and Alec. In this little spot over here, you can see that I wrote, you may choose or you may skip one character from each of the stories. So you can choose to skip Judson. I probably wouldn't if I were you. That'd be terrible. You wouldn't be able to really do that. Mabel, the thief, or Alec. The thief might tie in really well to the story, The Telltale Heart. So choose whichever one you want to choose, but you can only skip one of these characters. And also you need to know which story they came from. So jot that down too if you need to. The next story that you listened to, not read, is The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. Actually love this story. This one, we had a nameless narrator in this story telling this story. And you know that it was a nameless narrator because throughout the story, you saw the pronoun I. I loved the old man, which he killed, so it's kind of weird. That's a creepy, nasty kind of love, I guess. But surely a twisted guy. So the narrator, nameless, we never know him, but the story was told from his point of view. So you could do that. You could be a nameless narrator by saying I, if you tell the story well. It's kind of cool. And then the old man, he's the one that had to be killed. He didn't have to be killed. The nameless narrator chose to kill him. Excuse my hands, I've been gardening. But anyway, so the old man is also one of the main characters here. And then the three police come. And keep in mind that, remember, you have to tie the two stories together to create your own story, completely your own, just the characters. So if you have the three police here, and then up here you have the thief from the story Ruthless, you might have a really good tie-in for that. This should end up being a really nice creative writing story. You won't finish it today. I don't expect you to finish it today at all. If you do, you've done something wrong. It's not complete. We'll talk about that in a minute, actually. But anyway, and then the neighbor in The Telltale Heart, you might think that, they only mention the neighbor for a second, but that second is pretty critical because the neighbor heard that scream, which alerted the police. He alerted the police to come and check it out. So even though we hardly see the neighbor, we hardly see Alec in here, both of those characters are pretty important. Alec is the one, remember, in Ruthless that actually gave the main character, the protagonist, Judson Webb, the poison them to help him feel better after he heard it fell and hit his head. But in any case, you can skip one of these characters, and you can skip, sorry, you can't see it, one of these characters. Make sure you have written down all of these characters so you have no excuse, even if you think you'll remember them. I've read both of these stories at least a dozen times, and I still have to make sure that I know who's who in the stories. So now, let's talk just a minute before you start writing about my expectations. Right now we're in the middle of a new month, actually the very beginning of a new month, a new grading period, and here's the problem. A couple of you had some rough days, I get that, but those days when you take timeouts count as zeros unless you're with court, you're out for court or with a staff or something like that, then they're just exemptions. That can be a problem too eventually, because if you have one day where you're a little bit rough and you only get a 3 or a 2 or what have you, but then you don't have all those other days to get 5s and balance it out, you can end up in a little bit of hot water. So be careful that you're in class and doing well every chance you get. The other thing is, when you turn in work that is less than your best, right now, we've been gone. Kids have been getting left and right, lots of A's across the board, out of 16 kids or whatever. We've had just a slew of really strong grades, which is impressive. However, with this new marking period and we're not writing letters and you're being held accountable for all sorts of things in your writing, I have right now a whole lot of F's in my class. I think the grade book counts in E's, but E sounds like excellent, and it's not so much. Um, I have a few D's. I have a lot of E's in the grade book, and that's because primarily when you guys were told to write sentences or paragraphs last week for your alternate endings, even at the 10th grade, some of you had 3 and 4 sentences or 5 sentences that were super choppy. Um, 5 choppy sentences is not even middle school writing, you guys. So I know we're not in there, and I know it's hard to be invested, especially now it's summer vacation, but I need you to. I need you to write a little bit better. I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm over here. I'm at home. I can't do a lot. Um, but I do think that you guys need to be held accountable if you don't do your best quality in more than just grades. I don't know. I know we can give character slips from home, so maybe we can call GAs. I don't know. That'd be kind of weird, but not impossible. It's been a year of really strange things. The fact that I'm sitting here on my porch talking to you is kind of strange in and of itself. But I do need your writing to be much better than what it is. Not much better. And a lot of you are doing well. I just need you to put forth more effort. Um, the other thing I need you to remember is that it is typically quality, not quantity. So if you ask how long this story has to be, and you're not going to use anything except for the characters, okay? This is all your story. You're not going to have a story where somebody's putting rat poisoning into bourbon or whatever it was he put it in, or where somebody's ripping the heart out of somebody. Those stories have already been told. You're going to create your own story. So now if you're in middle school, of course, the depth of your story might be a little bit different. Probably will be, unless you're just a phenomenal writer, then write to your expectations. But if you're in high school, you need to write more. You need to put more effort into it. You need to use stronger words. For example, using the word very, or I really, really need you to do this. That's kind of redundant. It's in writing, they're kind of considered dead words, like the word suck. That's a dead word. We don't really need to use that. Find better descriptive words, your adjectives and adverbs. That's why I had you take a look at those. Those are the most important elements of your writing. All right. I mean, sentence structure is kind of important too, so it's easy for me to read. But most of you are really great with your sentence structure. But I think that it's a matter of I just want to be done and get this assignment done. I don't want to keep doing this. But here's your reality. More assignments are just going to come. So it is much better to have one really great assignment than 3 choppy, terrible assignments where you're getting C minuses, D pluses. So when you ask how long this needs to be, I'm going to say it needs to be as long as it needs to be to get the job done. I need you to add description to your characters. I don't need you to just call Mabel Mabel. You will call her Mabel in this story, though. You don't have a choice on that. You could give names to the officers if you want to. Officer 1, 2, 3, give them actual names. But I need to know what Mabel's like. I need to know that your Webb guy, Judson Webb, sorry, I always forget his name, that Judson Webb, who he is, what he is. He could be the good guy in your story. Mabel could be the terrible guy. The narrator could be the bad guy. The narrator could be the good guy. It could be you, good girl, good guy. It doesn't have to be a guy. In The Telltale Heart, the narrator was pretty masculine. I don't know that they ever actually say that he's a he, but that's the assumption everyone makes. And let's see, what else can I tell you? Just write well, do your best. You will have, today's Friday, you'll end up having about half the class period today to work on that. And then on Monday, you will still be writing. Don't do it for homework. It's not homework. I think you have enough going on worrying about what's happening in our world with COVID-19 and with our protesting or rioting, all of that stuff. I mean, it's an insanely crazy world right now that we're living in. I'm kind of glad you're there, safe and sound, not getting into mischief and being safe. So I think that's all I have to say. You will work on this today, Monday. You'll be editing it again on Wednesday, and your final draft will be due at the end of the hour Wednesday or first thing next Friday. So that gives you 3 class periods to work on it. That seems like a lot, but I'm expecting a lot. If you really want to know how long I think it needs to be, You won't be able to do this even if you're in middle school. You will not be able to do this story in under 5 or 6 pages. That is a bare minimum. You might get longer than that. You might get a smidge shorter based on if you write very small. But it needs to be in depth. Your characters have to be developed. Your plot has to be developed. And I think that's about it. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, man, if there's only one of you still, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, make good choices. And I feel like I'm going to be in the classroom again soon, and I am absolutely looking forward to it. And also, I just ordered a whole bunch of books that you guys are going to just love. I'm sure of it. So remember, do be kind to one another. Be kind to the staff. We're all doing our best for you. So get writing. Make your stories great. Oh, there's my dog in the background saying hi. I can't wait to see you. Hey, little girl. There she is. Hold on. There's the other one, too. He's the kind one. She's the assassin. So with that, we'll all say goodbye and have a great day. Take care. Bye.